The following program is sponsored by PokerStars.net. Previously, on the big game, Todd Brunson flopped a set to set up Tony G.
Just wait for the nuts. Just play the one hand.
But it was young Scott Seiver who knocked Tony down.
I'm all in.
All right.
Sorry, Tony.
Bye.
And Vanessa Rousso kept running strong. For our loose cannon, it was all mirth and merriment as he showed a profit.
Look at that neck pumping away.
I must fall to his neck.
Will his fun continue? Or will it end in tears? Find out tonight on the big game.
PokerStars.net Big Game.
Welcome to the newest big game in Las Vegas. Alongside Joe Stapleton, I'm Chris Rose, where tonight some of the world's high rollers will compete with nearly $1 million on the table in our state-of-the-art poker room.
One of Vegas's most feared high-stakes players, Todd Brunson, is up over $42,000.
Young gun Scott Seiver has turned the biggest profit so far. He's up over 140 grand.
Fan favorite Daniel Negreanu is down over 20K so far, but don't worry, he's still chatty.
Vanessa Rousso won big on the fourth hand this week and hasn't looked back. She is up over six figures.
And the pride of the Netherlands, young internet pro Lex Veldhuis is in the house, down 12K so far.
Up over 8,000 is Aaron Jensen, our loose cannon, a software engineer from Seattle. He's hoping to win some extra dough to throw his fiancée her dream wedding. Here's Amanda Leatherman to explain Aaron's role in the big game.
Once again, here are the rules for the loose cannon. At the start of the week, each loose cannon is staked with $100,000. But he or she only gets to keep the profit they earn above that 100K. At the end of the season, the loose cannon with the most winnings will also receive an NAPT passport worth $50,000. Now let's shuffle up and deal.
Thank you, Amanda. We'll begin play tonight with hand 58.
Aaron's definitely held his own against these guys so far.
You know what the lights we were talking about? The lights should go like, what's this show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, where it goes da-da-da-da-da. Like on the end, like if you call somebody on the end, it should go da-da-da-da-da. And then like, if you lose, bad call.
Show lightning and stuff.
Yeah, and then it's just pew.
Oh, they could have like a bomb go off for a blow up and stuff. Well, that would be funny. Like all in, call.
That would be great.
Spoiler alert, that's coming your way in season 2. Scott gets us going by folding. Big slick for Todd Brunson.
I'd say this is within Todd's range, even though he's playing tight.
He does raise to 1,300. An ace as well for Aaron Jensen, who calls.
Suited aces can be very strong when they hit.
Lex, 6-5 offsuit. Re-raises to 5,300.
Lex thinks that since Todd's playing tight, there are a lot of hands he'd fold to a 3-bet.
Action folds over to Brunson.
Ace-king probably isn't one of them, though, especially if Todd knows anything about the way Lex plays.
Todd calls. And so does the loose cannon.
Calling with a weak suited ace is a little loose after a 3-bet, but still not bad.
6-9 deuce on the flop. Brunson checks. Jensen checks. Middle pair for Lex, who checks.
Lex is checking for pot control with a vulnerable hand.
Trip sixes for Lex.
Just got a lot less vulnerable.
Brunson first to act.
The way the action went, it would be reasonable for Todd to think he might have the best hand.
I think it's like a self-calming thing.
It's definitely when there's lulls in the conversation.
And he fires out of the gate, 11,200.
Todd thinks his ace-king is good here a lot of the time, but I'm sure he wouldn't mind taking it down right now.
Aaron folds.
It's hard for him to know the 6 hurt him. Lex is trying to figure out if Todd has an overpair, and more importantly, how big a raise he would call. If he thinks Todd's got a hand strong enough to call, he'll raise for value here before one of those flush draws hits the river.
Lex raises to 28,000. And Brunson folds.
Another one for that. You're funny to me sometimes.
Huh?
You had nothing. I don't think you had anything. You just were being mean and you're bluffing.
A rare bad read from Daniel. Must be the accent.
While Lex stacks Todd's chips, let's take a look at the rules of the big game. Each table lasts exactly 150 hands. Action pre-flop is pot limit, then no limit after the flop. Blinds are 2 and 400 with a $100 ante, all of which is paid by the player on the button. Every player begins with at least 100 grand but can reload for up to $500,000. Earlier this week, we saw Tony G reload, thanks to a huge loan from Daniel Negreanu.
Tony sailed off for almost $300,000 earlier this week.
Action folds around to Lex. Raised to 1,500. Vanessa, 9-5 suited.
This would be a pretty loose call from Vanessa.
She makes it. Daniel's out. 10 deuce for Scott. See ya.
Vanessa seems to have widened her range. Could be that she's settling into the game.
6, 8, 10.
Lex whiffed, but it's not going to stop him from continuing, I don't think.
His jack high still best. Makes it 4,800 to go.
Vanessa's flopped a gut shot straight draw. She could fold, bluff, raise, or float and see what happens on the turn.
There's the call.
Vanessa's up over 6 figures. She definitely has the chips to speculate.
The turn, jack of clubs.
Lex jumps way ahead with top pair. It'll be harder to make him fold if Vanessa's going to follow through with her float.
Lex fires 10,800.
Vanessa's now open-ended. She's got a bona fide draw, so she can add a semi-bluff to her options.
Started the hand with how much?
100. Around 100. Don't shoot me if it's 130.
Vanessa wants to know how much Lex has behind to see if he'll fold to a raise or if he's pot committed. I think at this point Lex would probably get it in.
Call.
Vanessa calls.
She wants to see one more card.
And that card on the river is the king of clubs.
The king doesn't improve anyone's hand, but it's an overcard, and it does complete a gut shot.
Lex checks.
Lex is playing cautiously now.
Vanessa fires 25,000.
Vanessa floats down the river with a barrel. For Lex to fold, he'll have to put her in a hand strong enough to value bet.
And apparently he does, as Vanessa wins the pot.
I had the nuts.
Had the nuts?
Yep.
Before that?
Pretty quick fold from a guy who had top pair on the turn.
Well, Lex isn't going to like watching that one as Vanessa bluffs her way to more cash. If you'd like to watch the big game in person and sit in seat one here as the loose cannon, simply log on to PokerStars.net. There are free qualifying tournaments every day. We're back with much more after this.
I'm Lex Veldhuis, I'm 26 years old, and I'm from Holland. I think the loose cannon concept is pretty awesome, and I definitely think that poker on television needed something like that, because otherwise it's just more of the same. And it's created a whole new angle into televised poker where you can see people that you follow or professional poker players or players that you've always seen on TV where they have to adapt to something completely new. So it's just a fresh win through poker, and I think that's really important in general.
I've actually personally witnessed Lex playing over 30 tables at a time, so let's hope he can focus on just one poor little loose cannon.
Well, right now Lex will focus on his hand since he's under the gun, or UTG as you like to call it,
Wait,
Joe.
what is that? Is that Mississippi straddle?
Sleeper.
Raised to 1,500.
That lack of multiple tables also explains why Lex may be playing so many hands.
How about Vanessa calling with 5 high?
Well, Vanessa bluffed the heck out of Lex a few moments ago, so it's possible she thinks she's got a read on his game.
Action folds over to the cannon.
Wouldn't be such a bad defend from the big blind.
Nope, he's out. Deuce 10-7 on the flop.
Lex has missed. Vanessa's flop bottom pair.
Lex fires 2,800.
If she does have a read on his game, she won't fold to one bet with a pair.
She doesn't. She calls. The turn, the 8 of spades.
Lex just picked up an open ender. This tickles him for some reason. Makes it easy for him to fire off a semi-bluff.
This one of 13,000.
That's a lot of pressure for deuces.
And so Vanessa folds. So the semi-bluff worked this time against Vanessa's bottom pair, Joe.
That's right, Chris, and as we can see, since Lex arrived 22 hands ago, he's been very aggressive, and his losses haven't seemed to have had any effect on his attacking style of play.
We'll see if he's able to turn things around.
Probably won't be from any lack of aggression.
So you teach people how to speak English, huh?
Yep.
You've been working with Lex at all? No. That's what he does, you know? He's got a company where he can teach people.
You want to sign up? We'll give you a free trial.